All right, it's summer vacation with the Coach's Corner. I am Joe Krapinski, head men's basketball coach here at Midway University, joined, as always, as I have been 15 times before, by Coach Alan Foster, our head women's coach at Midway. Coach, classes are over, but we're back in session. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner.
Right, finals are over. I'm sure there's a lot of stress off of our students, stress off of the faculty getting those grades turned in, and
more importantly, right?
Yes, that's important. And yeah, we're back. So it's good to see you again on the screen, and us to have a chance to reach out to the Eagle Empire and talk a little bit about what's going on in athletics.
Yeah, it's our semester of uncertainty continues here, but it finished up. It seemed like on a pretty good note. A lot of positive momentum here heading at the end of the year and heading forward into the summer. I think, we're starting to move into some different phases in the state of Kentucky about, moving forward. So that's exciting. Some stuff's happening, even though the people aren't really around. Some stuff is happening here on campus. The Hunter Fieldhouse, just about the outside is completed. We're finishing up the inside of the project right now. And we just hosted a wildly successful Midway Awards. Coach, I'm sure you got a lot of good feedback over there in the Midway.
Yes, that was a great show. Yeah, that was a great show. Got a chance to watch it. Thought they, again, we like it better probably when everybody's there in person, but a great substitute. And, it was a really good night to honor a lot of our athletes, and even though they weren't there individually, personally.
Yep. Hats off to Dylan Brown and everybody over in the IT department and marketing who put that together. Really did a good job. I know a lot of our athletes were watching and have watched since on either Facebook or YouTube. It's still up there, and it's so that was exciting. That the academic awards show came out shortly after that. Had a lot of people, a lot of student athletes who were nominated and won awards on that show. So that's encourage everybody to get to the portal and watch that if you haven't done that as well. See the other side, half of the campus giving out their awards. For those of you who are just missing campus or who are still interested in Midway for the fall, we put up a virtual tour through the admissions office. That's out. Includes I haven't really watched it myself yet, but I'm told it includes a cameo of myself walking around the track, taking the inaugural lap.
Yes, you're on there. You're on there with the inaugural lap on the track.
Somebody had to do it.
Somebody had to do that, and I thought it had good pace. Good pace. You look like good stride and all that. So I'm sure here as we get with our next segment with Maria, I don't know if that translates to the pool, but on the track it was pretty impressive.
In my case, I can tell you it definitely does not. Yes, and we are in today's episode. We're really excited to have Maria Steakley, our new head swim coach, who's been on campus. I think a grand total of 2 or 3 times. But she is, she's an important part of the staff here going forward. Got a little bit of a, we started the swim process a little late to get it started for the fall, but she's done a great job getting everything going. And we're looking forward to talking to her about the inaugural season coming up with Midway Swimming in the fall and find out some more just about her and her vision for the program.
Right. Excited to have her. I think she got hired and then we shut down campus.
That's right.
I don't think those two things are related, so we're responsible for that. But, yeah, we're excited to talk to her here in the next segment.
All right. So we'll be right back with Maria Steakley, and we'll talk to her more about, again, Midway Swimming and all things of the Eagle Empire in the pool. All right, welcome back to this summertime edition of Coach's Corner, and we're making a big splash, Coach, with our guest this week. It's Maria Steakley, the brand new head swim coach here at Midway University. Coach, welcome to the corner.
Thank you. I hope everybody's staying safe and just doing what they can at home right now.
But not drinking chlorine, right? We decided that's not okay. That's not okay.
No.
That's not a cure.
Okay, all right, just making sure.
That's not a cure.
All right.
Well, no, Coach, welcome, and we're really excited. I know this has kind of been a transition time. We named you the head swim coach, and then pretty much everybody left the building, so to speak. So we haven't had a lot of time to sit around and talk, but we wanted to have you on the show and kind of highlight this new program that we're starting at Midway. So maybe first, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how this came to be.
Okay. I I was a swimmer my whole life, and I'm originally from Brazil, and I came to America in 2014 to go to school, and I graduated from University of the Cumberland. Then I became the assistant coach for 2 years, and then I got the opportunity to become the head swim coach for Midway University. And I'm very excited for this opportunity to start this program.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you. Like Coach said, it's been kind of a strange timeline. Like we haven't even met in person. I know we talked about before that, but how much
Yeah.
time have you been able to actually spend here on campus and get to know a little bit more about the school?
Okay, I've been on campus, I would say 3 times since I got hired. So not much time. And the transition of like getting moved and all of that, and then this virus hit, and I didn't get to spend much time on campus. My visit on campus was pretty much my interview visit. That's when I walked around and just like learn a little bit about campus. But everything else I've been just kind of researching on my own, because whenever I'm talking to recruits and stuff, I need to know a little bit about Midway. So that's what just my self-research that I've been doing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. How has that, obviously you need swimmers to have a team. How has that gone here in the early going with the recruit? Because you did get the job a little late.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little close, a truncated timeline, if you will. How has that been going for you early on here?
I've been getting good responses. I've been talking to a lot of swimmers right now, a lot of students. Many are very interested, and it's just a slow process right now, and especially with everything going on, they would like to go on campus and visit, but unfortunately that's not happening. And but I've been trying to do my best to just really call them and talk and send online tour that we have now, the video, so they can see, but we'll get there. So I've got a couple swimmers, and but we'll get there.
Coach, I'm not real familiar with the swim scene in high school wise, especially in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Is that going to be a fertile recruiting area, or are you looking elsewhere? I know all of our sports recruit nationally, but mm-hmm. Just curious about your connection since you were at Cumberland with the Kentucky high school swimming scene, and if that's where a lot of your recruits are coming from.
Yeah, so Kentucky, we have a lot of swimmers, and swimming it's really big in Kentucky. But I've been trying to recruit nationwide, and especially Ohio. It's a really good area for swimming, and Indiana, it's also a really good area for swimming. So I'm going out and just trying to get swimmers from everywhere. I've been talking to many kids from Houston, Texas, and so that's a really good area. Texas, they have a really strong swimming program, and so I've been just trying to recruit over there, and I've been talking to a couple internationals too. So swimming usually.
That was my next question. I wonder if we're going to see any of your fellow countrymen up here from Brazil.
Well, I've talked to a couple kids from Brazil. Unfortunately, they're a little bit expensive, but hopefully we can get some of them. And I have good connections. For this first year, it's going to be a little bit harder to get them to come, because many kids, they didn't get to get their SAT tests done and things like that. So hopefully for the following years, I'll be able to get a couple Brazilians on the team. So.
Good.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I know when I think of swimming, Coach, I think of Ohio and Indiana. Those are the areas that I think of. Yeah. I know you obviously your background was here, like you said, as a swimmer at the Cumberlands. What events were your specialties, and are those events that you'll be focusing more on? Or I know there's several strokes that you need to that are involved in swimming. That's about as much as I know. I would sink if I tried to swim somewhere.
Are you saying, Coach? Are you saying there's different strokes for different folks?
Some people may say that. I'm not going to say that, but some may say that. Yeah, I'm curious as to what your specialties were when you were a swimmer, and how does that go about building a team with the different disciplines?
Okay, so At Cumberland, when I came here, I was my specialty was the freestyle. What we say, I was a sprinter, a short distance swimmer. Swam the 50, 100, 200 freestyle. That's mostly what I used to do. But to be a swimmer, you have to know all the four strokes. So throughout my life, I've been a backstroker, I've been a flyer. So I know all the strokes, and I've been around enough that I feel comfortable that I can coach all the strokes. And at the same time, being assistant coach for 2 years, I wasn't only focused on the sprint group. I was always like talking to the distance swimmers. I was coaching the different strokes and things like that. So I feel very comfortable that I can we can focus on everything, because each swimmer, they swim a different stroke, and we have the distance factor. So if you swim long distance events, you're not going to be doing the same practice at the swimmer who does 50 and 100. So I feel comfortable. I can coach all the strokes.
Are you, and maybe I should know this, but I don't, are you, you mentioned your time as an assistant at Cumberland's. Have you had a chance to look at putting together a staff for yourself here? Are you going to have any help starting off?
So for this first year, I'm kind of choosing to stay by myself, just to connect a little bit more with my athletes. I feel that's very important for a coach, to connect with the athletes, especially now building this new program. Before I bring somebody else in, I want to have my team kind of on the right path and things the way I want to go. So I'm choosing to stay by myself for this first year, and I believe I'll be okay. So.
Coach, we've got a lot of construction projects going on campus. However, building a swimming pool isn't one of them at the current time.
Yeah.
So I know we're going to be using an off-campus facility. Have you, Chad, I'm sure you've had a chance to look at it and tell us a little bit about it and how you think it's going to fit our program.
Yeah, so the facility is in Versailles. It's the Falling Springs. That's the facility we're going to be using. They have an 8-lane, 25-yard pool. It's a pretty good size. They are familiar with swimming a lot. Like they host high school meets. They have several teams in the area using the facility. So they're already used to having a team going there and using the facility for practice. So we'll be having our own time, so nobody will be in the water with us, which is really good. So yeah, and so the facility is really good, and we'll be able to host our own meets too. So hopefully we can get some other teams to come and support whenever we have a home meet and things like that.
Yeah, that's great. I know Robbie Shea is really looking forward to that, being a contest manager for those events. We do it as usual. We have some questions here from the viewership. Dylan was on top of it enough. I don't know what else he has to do over there, but he was on top of it enough to put the appearance out early. So we had a few people ask some questions for Maria here. From Jan in Pennsylvania, who was a co-winner of our texting award this past year. What advice do you have for swimmers to train over the summer if a lot of the public and private pools are not being opened right now?
Yeah. Okay. So swimming it's different from any other sports. Unfortunately, if swimming shape is different than swimming being on land. But as much as we can just try to keep running is really good. It's not going to be the same shape, but it's good to keep your body moving. Swimmers, they can do at home if you have if you have a ball, if you have a TheraBand and things like that we use, you can just like put that on a doorknob and just try to do your strokes and do like as if you're swimming. You can just try to do burpees, just things like that, adrenaline workouts, and just try to keep moving on just every day, do a little bit. Unfortunately, that's what we can do. And one thing that's really good that swimmers can work on right now, it's core work. Swimming, we use a lot of cores, so you can just do planks, abs, and just any kind of abs. So just try to really work on that. And flexibility, we can stretch. Swimmers are very usually you're very flexible. So this is a time that we can keep working on the flexibility and just try to stretch at home and things like that.
That explains why I never took to it, Coach. The flexibility part. That's not
Yes, that's been an issue. Another question we had from Eleanor in Idaho.
Hey, Eleanor's back. All right.
Eleanor's back, and talking about didn't know Midway had a swimming program, so we've talked a little bit about that. But she asked about what conference are we competing in, and then how are swim meets scored? Are they all individual, or are there team scores and different things like that? Because a lot of us know nothing about this outside of trying on the ground.
Okay, so we'll be joining the Mid-South Conference. That's the conference we'll be in. And the scores they're by team. You swim individually, and each swimmer, whenever they score, you have a point that you score. There's a scale of points for swimming for first, second, third, fourth place, and go. So let's say a swimmer gets second place and they get like 13 points, and then that will accumulate, and then the team with most points will win the conference. Okay. So it is individually, but it's by team that wins the conference.
So a follow-up to that would be, so as far as advancing for postseason, you only advance as a team, or can an individual who's outstanding in one event advance through nationals, even say kind of like track
or wrestling or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, so for nationals, we have a time standards. So if the swimmer meets that time standards, they're automatically they're qualified for nationals. So the school will only take the swimmers who were qualified for nationals, who met that time standards. So you go to nationals as a team, but it's the same thing as conference. The swimmers will score individually, and then the team that has the most points will win the nationals.
Okay.
And with that, the Mid-South is, of course, the conference you came from at Cumberland, so you should have you should have an understanding of what's going to take to be successful there. So that's a benefit for us, I think, for sure.
Yes.
We have another, now Dylan told me, we have another anonymous texter, but it's not the anonymous texter from the first time. So very curious about that. This is from Texas, I heard. I heard it's from the Austin area. Somebody texted, and they didn't want to be identified, but they'd like to know if they're interested in the swim team. How do they go about getting hold of you? Do they try out? How does your recruiting process work in swimming with your program?
Okay, so swimming, it's a little bit easier than other sports to recruit. Usually we just look at the times, and then if the times are something that the coach is interested and feel like, yeah, I can work with this, and this is something that it would fit my team. So I'll talk to the swimmer, but usually I'm not looking to do a swimming tryout or anything like that to join the team. Everything is based on times, on past times from them swimming, and just experience. So if a swimmer is interested, somebody's interested on the swim team, they can fill out a online questionnaire we have on a website, so they can fill out a online questionnaire. I'll get in contact with them, and then we can go and talk about the team.
That's great. I have a personal question on that, because I know, are there fast pools and slow pools? Do you know what I mean? Like I sometimes, you say time. Is the time in California always the same as the time in Maine? I mean, or in Brazil, in London, or are there the different pools run differently, so to speak?
Yes. So we have. So what we use here usually it's we use yards. So short course yards. That's what most swim meets in America uses, and usually summer leagues they use long course meters, but so the time from long course meters, short course meters, and yards are different, but we can convert those times to yards, so we know, but the time will be the same. So we just have to make the conversion. The times will be the same. And
so the temperature of the pool, none of that matters. It's pretty much water.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed. I was thinking about volunteering to help, but I thought recruiting would be like go to the pool, go to the beach,
Right.
hang out, see who's swimming.
Yeah, it doesn't sound as enticing anyway. That's
Yeah, it doesn't sound as interesting as I thought it was going to be.
No. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you joining us. I think we kept that segment afloat. Coach Foster, I think you and I did that.
Yes.
I really appreciate you, taking some time to join us and talk to us about swimming. We're really excited to get everybody back to campus and start meeting our swim team and get going. I'm sure you'll start training pretty much right when we get back, I would imagine.
Yes. Yeah, I'm very excited to have everybody. Very excited to have the team on campus and to start this. I'm like, I can't really stay just one place. I have to keep moving. So
it's a tough time for you then.
Yes, it is. It is a very hard time. So I'm this recruiting process, just sitting at home and just on the phone. It's okay. I enjoy talking to the swimmers, to the students, but I'm ready to be on the pool deck and just coaching. So.
All right. Well,
we look forward to having you on campus and getting to sit down in person. But I do appreciate you joining us here and get some information out about the swim program. It's another sport that Midway started, providing some opportunities to young people who want to continue that sport as they pursue their college degree. So we're excited about having you on board and your team.
We are.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate it, Coach. We'll be back right after this with the People segment, FaceTime with Dylan. All right. Summer vacation does not stop the Coach's Corner, and it certainly is not about to stop the People segment, FaceTime with Dylan. Dylan, checking in from the Brown compound in Bardstown, Kentucky. How are you today? Welcome back to the Corner.
How are we doing, gentlemen? Great show so far. It was a very informative segment from Maria. She was a great guest. Learned all about swimming. I'm ready to, if the pool is ever opened back up, start working on my backstroke and everything.
We got you penciled in for the 5,000 meter dog paddle.
Whoa, that's a little much.
I think there should be an SID category.
I will say there was one thing that might prevent me from joining, and that is she said if you're flexible. I am not flexible. I am probably one of the least flexible people I know. So that would probably
that might leave out the entire program in this one.
That might leave out quite a few of us.
That added with there was something about you had to have a strong core.
Yeah.
If core involves eating food, I am there.
Yeah, the quarantine hadn't been real good on my core.
No. I would like we Dylan and I have had a kind of a wager, not a wager, but a friendly competition. And congratulations, Dylan, to the 5-star in Bardstown, which did open up prior to Hunter Fieldhouse.
The 5-star in Bardstown.
They only started building it a mere 6 or 7 months afterwards, but they did make it.
I unfortunately haven't been able to get over there. You beat me to it. I haven't been out of the house much.
It's a good looking building.
I heard that, Alan. I think they even have apartments on the top floor, so you wouldn't even have to drive.
I might have to get a job at the 5-star.
But if you watch the Midways, Alan has his car waiting for him in Midway.
Right.
Yes.
Times are tough all around.
People have responded.
Yeah, well, Dylan did do a good job this week, as he always does, but of letting the Engle Empire know who the guest was going to be and when. So we have a plethora of questions for FaceTime with Dylan this week. And the first one will be from Craig in Iowa. Craig, and they asked both Alan and I, what do you require in an off-season conditioning program for your players, and how do you monitor it to make sure they're involved in staying in shape, particularly now with the stay-at-home orders, Coach? How's that affected your summer program?
Well, I'll tell you, it's made it difficult because it's less time with the team where you can actually monitor yourself with your own eyes. But I've been really fortunate. Coach Shayla Black has wrote up a couple different workouts for our girls that really involve no weights. It's all things you can do in your own apartment, living room, front yard, wherever it might be. You don't have to be able to get to the gym to do some of these things. And so she's put together 2 really good workouts that our girls have been doing. And we ask them to report back, what they've been doing through Google Sheets and things like that. hopefully they're being honest with that, of how much they're running. But, we're trying our best through this to stay in touch, but been really fortunate. Shayla put together some really good workouts that didn't require going to the gym. And so our girls have been, are supposed to have been working out with these workouts.
Yeah, it's definitely a different time. I mean, we're going to be sending out our program here pretty soon, and I've kind of waffled back and forth on whether do we send out a regular program, do we try to find a modified one. I think maybe one of each, something the guys can do until we maybe get back and our gyms start opening up again where they are. But it's challenging, in our end of the year Zoom meetings with everybody. I one of the things I really tried to specify was the importance of don't talk about flexibility, but staying in shape and flexible, because what we don't want is after all this is over and guys are out back doing stuff to get hurt. I can see that.
Exactly.
A lot of injuries popping up when they can start doing full speed stuff again. So we're really focusing or preaching flexibility and whatnot. We'll have a program that's going out here pretty soon. And obviously normally we would have it starting next week, but that will probably be delayed a little bit. But hopefully I think again, kind of everybody's in the same boat. It's not like IU East is working out and we're not. Everybody's
exactly
doing the same thing. So hopefully our guy, we've always said I don't know if it's mandatory in the sense that we're not really necessarily checking up on them every day in summer, but if you want to be in the best position to do the best you can when you get back here, it might as well be mandatory. So we're kind of taking that approach again, and I think our guys are pretty, especially with the veteran group, they're pretty they're going to police themselves, so to speak. And so I don't worry about it too much, but it's always a concern for all of us.
No, it is. That's one of the things we talked about with ours was there's a lot of self-motivation, and we probably won't really be able to tell until we get back who really worked at it and
That's right.
who just kind of went through the motions. And
That's
some people
true.
don't even go through any motion. So
That's
we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
Dylan, you got a question? I think you have a question there from Craig in Iowa, don't you?
Craig in Iowa, he says for both of you guys, obviously not for me. He says, "How?"
Well, no, wait a minute. Now it could be. Now that could be. Hold on. Go ahead.
I think he's specified for you two though.
Okay.
He says, "How has recruiting changed for you during this lockdown period?" I'm sure it's a bit more difficult because you can't go out and you can't go to these AAU circuits for you guys, especially.
Yeah, it's been a lot different. We've done a lot more from film than normally, watching film, and then, talking to kids basically through Zoom or texting calls. We haven't really had I haven't had any face-to-face. And one of the things I think it's really hurt the most is we have such a beautiful campus. Our campus really,
absolutely,
sells itself a lot of times. And with the new construction, Hunter Fieldhouse, and all that coming online, the most difficult part's has been not being able to bring people to campus to visit, because I think that's really, our campus is one of our top selling points. So, the virtual tour has been really good to kind of give people a feel for it. But a lot of it's just been staying in contact any way we can through technology. And, some kids have went ahead and made commitments, even though they haven't been to campus, received one of them. But others are still holding out, hoping there's going to be an opportunity to visit campus. And so we all do very soon. But it's been taking a different approach than normal years. How about you, Joe?
Yeah, here's what I would say. I would say up until now, it's been way different. This spring was so different. I mean, there was no, like Dylan said, no tournaments to go to. I think, Coach, your point about bringing people to campus is the big one, because A, they don't see us, but we don't get. A lot of times, the best thing we can do is have our guys come in and play against our current team, and we can see them. And that was taken from us this year, and that's really made things a lot more difficult on both sides for us evaluating and for other people to get a sense of where they fit within our team. We're kind of going off, a lot of off film and just guesswork right now. And we had some relationships with people prior to the lockdown, which has helped, but a lot of it is just, and nobody's really sure, like I said, where we're headed. Like some people, like you said, are holding out. Other people are hurrying up and they want to commit and get somewhere and know where they're going in the fall, because of all this uncertainty. So the time frame has really just been thrown all out of whack. We've been in some, I go back and forth, but I think we've been mostly fortunate in our program in that we have a lot of guys returning. It's a really veteran team. So we haven't had to go out and we've been, worrying about our current team more so. We haven't had to go out and, we need good guys for the program, but it's not like the pressure to bring in guys that are going to contribute from day one is there, only because a lot of those guys are back. But no, there's been, the summer it looks like it's going to be maybe a wash. I mean, I know I just saw yesterday some teams in Indiana are planning on starting practice here soon, but boy, I don't know. I don't know if there'll be any events, and that will slow down the process with 2021, which is a huge year for us because we have all those guys leaving. So the whole thing is, but in some ways, it's kind of like the old school stuff. I mean, I go back to when I started, and we were all you're probably the same over there at Kemper Military, taking guys off film from New York and L.A. I mean, it's and again, it's the same thing. Everybody's doing the same thing. So
everybody's got the same problem.
Yep. So I don't view it as like necessarily where it's a negative or that we're behind the eight ball. It's just a new way to do it this year, and you got to adapt. It's good. And if we don't do it's just like on the floor. You got to adapt if things aren't working out there. Same thing in recruiting. So that's how we've approached it. We've been fortunate. We've gotten some good commitments here, and we're still looking for a few more. But different is the correct term.
Yep. Okay, I believe next question. I think it's for you, Dylan.
Oh.
I believe Sarah in Southville. Sarah in Southville.
Oh yeah, frequent texter.
Yes.
Yep.
Wants to know during this quarantine, what's your recommendations for summer viewing? Since you're our television guy, what have you been watching down there in Bardstown at the Brown compound?
Right, and more importantly, what are you looking forward to? Because we've had a couple of these questions before, and you've talked about what you're watching now. But what are some things you may be looking forward to for the summer? Give us some recommendations.
Just a couple that are out there now. The most up-to-date seasons are on Netflix. I would say Friday Night Lights is one of them. I think it's 5 seasons, so that one could use up some time to watch that one. All American.
What's it called again? Friday Night
Lights. So there's a movie, and then there's also a TV series. The movie there is a movie about it, and the movie's good as well. The movie is good. The TV series I think is very good as well. So I would recommend that one. All American I think is a good one. 2 seasons up on Netflix. So I that's another one I would recommend. That's a pretty good one. A kid growing up in the tough part of California there, and he's able to get a chance to go somewhere else, and so good for him. It was a good opportunity for him, and that's a good show. Shooter, that one. A guy gets framed for there's 3 seasons. A guy gets framed for killing the president, and he does all this research. He gets framed for attempting to kill the president anyway. So that one's quite interesting. That one's I haven't quite finished that one yet, but one I'm looking to finish here in the next week or so, and then so that's what I would recommend now. But
I think the real question, Coach, you mentioned this before we get on, is what's your update on this? There's another Bachelor, isn't there, or something right now? Or?
There is another Bachelor show on, and during quarantine, my daughter and wife have been watching it religiously, and I've been waiting for Dylan's take. On it.
So here's your chance, Dylan.
You had the opportunity to view this yet?
Here's my chance. Well, I'm unfortunately gonna blow my chance on this one because I actually haven't watched that one yet. I haven't been able to get into it. It's Bachelor, Listen to Your Heart. I haven't been able to get into it. I'm sure I'll get into it at some point. So we'll see. We'll see about that one. That one, and then there's supposedly there's Coach Rima, Janae Rima. Who's
that? Who's that? I'm not familiar with that.
You haven't been on this show?
Has she not been on the show?
I think she stood us up, but she was telling me there's another one that is seems like another right up your alley for trashy reality TV. Too hot to handle on Netflix is what. Is what I've been told.
All right. Well, do some research and get back to us on that, Dylan.
I need to get up on that one. Then and then also I think they're going to try and start filming The Bachelorette I think they're going to try and start filming that one in possibly July or August. So we'll see.
Oh boy,
quite interesting.
That'll be a heck of a time doing that in quarantine. All right, what else? We got any more questions, Dylan, or where are we at?
Let's
Your
see here. From Craig in Iowa, it says, what Midway coach, this is a good question. I really like this question whenever you're sending it. What Midway coach do you think would be the best at virtual sports? You cannot include Alyssa Tinker, who is head esports coach. That one makes you think.
The other qualifier is what game we play. Because I think, some things like Pong and stuff, the young coaches are out. They've never played on Atari.
That's right. That's a good point. Are we talking about a Pac-Man console, or are we talking about a Wii? I mean, if it's Wii tennis, I'm going with Reyes. And I mean, we've all said tennis is virtually a sport anyway. I don't know.
Virtually.
So maybe that'd be the guess. And he's more on the younger side. I mean, I think you always default to the younger coaches on staff when you talk about.
But if we're going like coach here, Pong or like a Gallagher. What about Gallagher? Is that a good one? Did you guys play Gallagher?
I'm not familiar with Gallagher.
No?
I'm too old.
All right then.
Too old for Gallagher.
All right.
Well, I'm gonna go with Reyes, Coach Reyes. I think.
I agree. Coach Reyes, I think, would be probably be the leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah,
probably.
I think so.
Probably so. But we're agreeing that if we had the chance to take Alyssa Tinker, we're taking Alyssa Tinker. Correct?
That's absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Let's see here. Last question. Corner handicapping. A big weekend for horse racing, Coach, wasn't it?
It really. I'll tell you what. It's horse racing's time. It's the only game in town. And Korean baseball now.
In Korean baseball. That's right.
But, we had a huge weekend at the Arkansas Derby. Two flights, so to speak.
The Bob Baffert suite.
Bob Baffert won both of them. The favorite won both of them. Ho hum. Charlatan got qualified for the Kentucky Derby with an easy win in the first division, and then Nadal. Speaking of Coach Reyes, Nadal had to work a little harder against a deeper field in the second, but probably had a better performance actually. Those two horses looked really strong in the Arkansas Derby. So
what is your take on everyone saying that Charlatan? They're saying that he could be that they could be the next great super horse. What's your take on that?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's the unknown because it was only his third race. He's basically followed the path Justify followed a few years ago. Didn't race till I don't think he raced as a 2-year-old, and now this is his third race and he's looked better each time. This whole new calendar is gonna. We'll see. They just there was just an announcement today. It's not an official announcement. They think that the Preakness is going to move to the beginning of June, and in October. The Preakness is going to move to October. The Belmont may move. The Belmont may move to earlier in June, and the Travers may move earlier in August. So it might be a completely different road to the Kentucky Derby. So there's a possibility it might be Belmont, Kentucky Derby, Preakness. With some other stuff thrown in there.
Interesting.
So nobody really knows. I don't think anybody knows yet what's going to happen. But the Baffert horses, as usual, along with Tis the Law, I would say are still the favorites. I know there was one other race this weekend, Dylan, that you wanted to talk about.
The virtual Kentucky Derby. That's the one that Jan and PA wants to know about. She wants to know your take on the virtual Kentucky Derby, and then go ahead.
Yeah. I did watch. I watched it with we was a few of us watching it from social distancing, watching it from afar. But I think we all agreed as we were watching it that it was pretty absurd that we were spending so much time watching this. But I actually thought it was pretty interesting. I don't know. I think everybody. I personally did donate to the relief fund, so I got to pick a horse, and I took Whirlaway because I was trying to. I figured to win the contest, you'd have to pick an outside horse.
Yeah.
The favorites win, and you get lumped in that pool, and it's hard to win that drawing. So I went with Whirlaway, which finished I think 60. Who bumped American Pharaoh around the corner there, but Secretariat. I mean, I think is widely considered to be the best horse ever, and that's the horse that won. So no surprise, but I guess we're all looking for action here on the first Saturday in May.
That's right.
When
exactly.
the outside, and of course, Coach. The best weather we've had all year on that day.
Of course.
Isn't it right, though?
Probably the best weather it could have ever been in the last 3 or 4 years for the Derby.
It rains every year until this year. We had to mark that down.
Not much humidity. It was about low to mid 80s. Oh man, it was a perfect day. Absolutely.
Coach, you were
perfect.
Coach Foster. I think we're going to have him on corner handicapping pretty soon. He was texting and asking for some tips on the Arkansas
okay.
Derby. He seems to be following it.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that's it. I mean, we've got it on the TV here. It's the only live sporting events, and then now the Korean baseball thing's too early in the morning.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
You got to be a night owl for that one.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Yeah.
But
All
yeah,
right.
I've been keeping up with it, checking Joe. I want to check Joe's accuracy on some of this before I start
Yeah.
There you go.
putting all my money on Joe.
We need an ombudsman. We need an ombudsman.
I did see one highlight from Korean baseball. The guy hit a home run down the line, and no one knew it was a home run until it actually left the park and everything, because it went over the foul pole and there was no reaction, no fan reaction. So it was quite.
Did it go over the cardboard cutouts?
The robots.
The robots.
Hey, who knew we were going to be on the cutting edge of this stuff with the fatheads last year? We're
That's
going to
right.
be just putting the fatheads out in the stands next year. We'll be all set.
Did you find yours? I heard you wanted to rip it up and whatnot, Joe. Did you?
I don't know where mine is. All right, it's this is a great segment here with FaceTime with Dylan this week. Always interesting. Keep those questions coming for our next segment. You're going to want to either tweet them to @GoMidwayEagles using the hashtag Coach's Corner, or text them into the HON text line. What's that number, Dylan?
That is 859-846-5327. Again, that number is 859-846-5327. Like we said, we had an anonymous texter. We have an idea. I have an idea where it might be coming from. Austin, Texas. I'm looking at you, that area code. So I don't know. I gotta get out my CSI and criminal minds and investigative skills and trying to figure out who that was.
All right, we'll be right back to wrap up this week's edition right after this message.
Highlight reel dunk is good for Evans and Watt.
Get recruited at GoMidwayEagles.com.
All right, Coach, we're back. Wrapping up this week's segment, and if I do say so myself, I thought that was a pretty good show.
I think it's been another excellent show. Consider the limited offerings out there to be watching. I don't see how this one doesn't rank up there and get some high ratings this week. As soon as Dylan gets it put up, I'm sure people are on the edge of their seat. And great show. Found out a lot about swimming that we didn't know.
Yep.
And, looking forward to that program joining us on campus.
Yeah, it's exciting. We've grown a lot here as a Midway athletic family, and that's our next step. And even though they'll be competing, a short distance away off campus, it worked out for baseball at the start, and I'm sure swimming will jump right in there and or dive right in and be an important part of our offerings here. So, but yeah, definitely not much else to talk about. We did want to bring you, like I said, some of the updates from swimming. We are efforting, I think Dylan is, to attempt to maybe try to find get some of the Midway Award winners on throughout the summer here as we just try to keep everybody posted about what we're doing as we head back to the fall. Look forward to that.
That'd be great. We get some of those people from the Midways, some of those athletes that have won awards. That'd be great for them to be able to come on here and tell us about their reactions to winning those awards.
Yeah. And as always, again, a lot of things, even though people aren't here, a lot of things have continually been progressing here at Midway, and we're all really looking forward to getting back to seeing everybody again. I know I am. I'm sure you are, Coach, and hopefully everybody's working hard.
Yep. Really looking forward to getting back on campus and having the students back and things like that. So got to still stay safe and keep flattening the curve until we kind of figure out where this is going. But definitely I'm ready to be back on campus.
Yeah. All right. Well, be sure to watch social media. We'll let us know when the next Coach's Corner will be coming at you. We'll try to get some we've got a few other ideas here for the summer. We'll be checking in here and there as we head, kind of recapping this past year, looking forward to next year. And we'll have it all for you here on the Coach's Corner. See you next time.
See you next time.